Okay, so we're going to go over the leg muscles now. So I'm just going to skip back a second and take a quick look at the arm muscles here, because you'll see a very strong similarity between them. So we have our bicep. Let's try and use there we go. So we've got our bicep. Like this. And then on the back, we have our tricep. So if we go back, let's finish undoing that. Now if we go back to the leg file here, we'll go in here and we'll start drawing our leg. So roughed out just like we normally would. So on the front of the leg, we have our quads. So essentially I'll draw them. Like this. Now, if you look at this muscle group I should say, it's made up of 3 muscles, and it very much resembles the tricep. Now, as you can see just here like this, so the tricep has that angle like this, and so does the quads like this. The main difference is we have the quads on the front of the leg and not the back of the leg. Okay, so the other thing we have here is we have this little tendon that goes down like this, which will be much more evident in when we put the leg in the side view. And then we have a big meaty section of the leg here like this. So then we have our knee. Then we have our calf muscle. So you're going to have to bear with me for a second, because calf muscle again is on the back of the leg, so you're not going to see a whole lot of it from the front. What you will see is this bit here from the side. And we have this tendon that runs down, tendon muscle that runs down here like this. That is essentially our leg from the front. Okay, so I guess this muscle here is very similar to what we get with this one here. Okay, so I'm going to go through now and we'll draw the leg from the different views. So from the side view now, so I'm going to work as if we're turning around this way. Okay, so front, inside of the leg, then I'll go back, and then I'll do the outside of the leg. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some important things here. First, I'm going to go over the anatomy, and then I'm going to talk about, some very important common issues you have when drawing the leg. Okay, so here's our knee. Chuck our knee in here. So start our quad. And I'll clean this up again in a minute. So what we're starting to see now here is the hamstring. This part here is the hamstring, which we'll get into in a minute when we do the back view properly, but just be aware of that. Okay, we're into the calf now. So one important thing to remember about the calf is the inside of the leg, the muscle on the inside here, is shorter than the muscle on the outside. Okay? Alright, so I'm just going to clean this up, and then we'll move on to the next one. And of course we'd have our ankle here, if we're worrying about that, which we are not at the minute. Okay, let's do the back of the leg now. Get our knee in here. So what I've done here is I've done this leg on the opposite. Basically I've drawn the opposite leg, and I don't want that, so we're going to fix that. The easiest way to fix that is if I come up here and come down to transform and flip horizontally, like so. Okay. Okay, so now you'll see that the smaller side of the calf is on the right side, the correct side I should say, which just happens to be the left side, not the right side. So we have our calf muscle here, and of course we'd have our Achilles tendon coming down the back here. Inside of our quad there, and the outside of our quad there. Alright, so now we have our hamstring. Which is essentially two muscles like this. And of course we have tendons coming down the back here like this. So I'll just clean this up real quick. Like so, and let's just move these a little closer together to give ourselves a bit more space. Okay, so what we will notice now with this hamstring at the back here, it's very similar to our arm. So we have the bicep in the front here made up of 2 muscles, and then we have our tricep at the back here made up of 3 muscles. So on the leg we have our quads, which is 3 muscles, sort of like our triceps, and then on the back we have our hamstrings, which is sort of like our biceps, and they do the same thing. So for example, if we're talking bicep, let's go up here, the bicep pulls the arm up, it pulls the arm in like this, okay, and that's what the quads do. So sorry, not the quads, that's what the hamstrings do, the back of the leg here, because the way the leg bends, just like this. Don't worry about the foot for now, it's just there so you can distinguish this from the arm. But yeah, the hamstrings, which is here, pulls the leg up like this, whereas the quads pull the leg straight, okay, just like the triceps would with the arm, okay. So it's actually, the anatomy of the leg is, once you've got the anatomy of the arm, it's really easy to remember the anatomy of the legs, okay. So we'll quickly separate these guys into colors. So we'll grab this red from here. Actually, we'll go down here. I've noticed that I've done the colors around the wrong way on this this one up here. So I'll let's grab this red. Let's see if we can, whoops. There we go. And we'll grab this orange. Just to make things a little bit clearer to understand. You don't want to be looking at one thing at the top here and then another thing at the bottom. So we've got the orange. Let's go through and we'll do this hamstring. Just take my brush size up a bit, make it a bit easier. Like this. Okay, I still have to do the outside of the leg, which I will do in a second, but for now I'll just separate this. Can't really see any of it. I guess this would be part of it, but we won't worry too much about that. Let's go back and we'll grab this red. Just like that, and we'll go back and And for the calf muscles, it's essentially this here is essentially the calf muscles. So we'll just grab this green, keep things consistent. Separate this for you guys to see. Okay. And yeah, we better do it up here for consistency sake. Alright, let's go back here. And what I'll do is we'll move that like that so that we can do the outside of the leg here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cheat, I'm going to steal this guy. I'm going to flip him horizontally. And I'm going to use that as a base. Just for simplicity's sake. Now remember, the calf on this side here is longer, so this time we're not going to see any of the inside bit. And if you notice again, this angle here that we're working with, the outside of the leg for the quad here is higher up, and again I'm going to touch on this in a second, but yeah, it's higher up, so we're not going to have it down here with the knee like this. We're going to have it up here. We have our hamstring back here. Okay. Like that. And I guess what I better do is chuck these colors in again so we know what we're looking at. Hey. So I did a little bit of a roundabout kind of way, but that's all right. Okay. So now if I go down here, I'm just going to talk very quickly about this angle. A common mistake people make when they draw legs is they'll draw them like this. They'll do a football oval shape. They'll do the circle for the knee, and they'll do another oval shape. Okay, and that's how they'll rough it out. And there's some books out there that will teach you, rough everything out with ovals. So you're gonna arm like this, and then we have our leg. But the problem with that is we run into these anatomy issues like this. Essentially what I'm teaching myself to do now is we have our knee here, one side of our leg, other side of our leg. So what's happening, if I put my muscles in here, you can see we have a straight line across there, which is incorrect. That is not right. Okay? You have to have this angle on the muscles there for it to be anatomically correct. Okay, so it's very important that when you rough your leg out, that you make sure you're doing a shape like that. And again, there's lots of different ways to rough it out. But you have to make sure that you have this shape, okay? So we'll keep these guys here for reference for you guys. And we'll put a big tick here. Better get that right color. Not sure what's going on with this red, but that's alright. Big tick here like this, and a big cross like that. Okay, and the very last thing I'm going to touch on is when you're roughing out the leg, there's a nice shorthand that I learnt that helps me get the legs correct every time. So, and that basically is the front. If you're looking at a leg from the front or the back, it makes a B. If you're looking at a leg from the side, it makes an S. So, if I was to, let's make a new layer here. You can see that S shape here in that leg, and then the opposite S shape here in this leg, and then we can see that B shape and the opposite B shape in the leg on the front there. So when I'm doing this, when I'm roughing this out, when I rough a leg out, I'll keep that in mind. Okay, so this essentially becomes a shorthand for a front or back leg, and this becomes a shorthand for the side view. So we work that in with our cylinders. So I'm doing a front on leg here. And you can see there I've got that nice B shape. And when we're doing a side on leg, and this is probably the most important one, the one that people muck up the most, let's clean things up a bit, tidy up where things are. Now the important thing to remember about the side-on leg is that it is not straight up and down. We are not doing a leg like that. Okay? When you are standing and your legs are locked, your knees are locked out, we get this S shape here like this, where this is the front of the leg here, this would be where the calf is, this is the shin bone along here. Because of the muscles, and just because of the way the bones sit, you know, we get that nice S shape. Okay, so we'll X next to that because it's straight, and we'll put a tick next to that because it's curved. Okay, alright, so spend a fair bit of time working on these legs, so we'll stop this here and then we'll come back in the next lesson.